do stick with us. That 7-lap race, 9.5-kilometre race distance. We'll be heading out onto the track in a few moments. The engines fire up as the field heads out onto the circuit. Let's take you through the full starting lineup for this one. Scott Marsh and Jacopo Martinez started on row number 1. Archie Lovett and Andrea Mani go from row 2. Vladimir Ivanikov and Ludovico Mazzola going from row number 3. Iskander Sulfakari and Roman Kamyab on row 4. They'll have Devon Waltz and Drew Waltz on row number 4. That's going to be nice and easy for me, with it both being D Waltz on my screen. As the rest of the field go through, it's Kari Kowalczyk and Jack Iliff on row number 6. Toby Gale and Augustus Toniolo on row number 7. Turner Brown and Sana Z go from row number 8. William Kalija and Vanessa Shilkanate on row 9. Have Yuri Lavar and Jean-Mathieu Rousseau rounding up the top 20 on row 10. Benjamin Maniac and Kean Bernard round out row number 11. They'll have Christian Blandino and Alex Brunner on row 12. Evan Purcell and Gilles Herman going from row 13. Louis Cochet and Matvey Durganov on row 14. Oscar Babari and Amir Sabarov on row 15. Zakhar Dole and Lev Krutilov starting on the 16th row of the grid. Now, it's getting to that sort of stage of the weekend here that drivers are starting to think, right, I need to make positions. And for drivers such as Zakhar Dole, Oscar Papari, you've got Amir Sabarov, Durganov as well, Cochet, Zell Herman, who have all been down in that bottom end of the order. They've got to really start thinking now, points. We've got to start getting them. For Lev Krutilov, who starts on the 32nd spot on the grid, though, he has been okay. He's gained positions in nearly every single one of his qualifying heats, and he's really put himself in a strong spot. So, again, he's a driver who I'm going to keep an eye on in this one. The driver of the 127 who starts at the back of the grid has certainly made good moves throughout the course of the day and has done everything he can to try and get himself out of that sort of cut-off area, that drop zone of who won't make it to the superheats and who will. Of course, only the 72 drivers getting into it. 215 drivers in total entering into this weekend. So many. And that's in both classes. That's junior and senior. So many drivers in a tough spot for this one. But for the drivers at the front who have delivered the results, can, well, kind of breathe easy on this one and just think, right, let's just take this like every other race. Let's get it to the end. Let's do what we can do. As we head into the formation lap now. Drivers heading to the red line. From here, no overtaking. We should be already nice and slow and already formed up before we get to that line. However, we're not. So drivers will have a little bit more work to do before they head to the start-finish line. But we'll keep a close eye on this. It looks good now as the back of the field just trying to get themselves formed up, ready to go. This is looking good for a first time asking for their last race of the day in the junior category in Groups D and G. Lights go green. We are running, and Scott Marsh gets a lightning start. Lovett and Ivanikov get through as well. Drivers on the outside, Martinez, Mani, Mazzola and Kamyab don't get a good start. There's a spinner in the middle of the pack. Drivers avoid it. Brilliant avoidance there from the field, but who was the driver that has not gone? Now, Martinez is not clocking off my screen. Now, there is a kart on the right-hand side of the screen there that's out of this race. Is that Martinez out of this race? Who was the other driver who spins? Looks like it was Jack Iliff, unfortunately, for the Forza Racing team. The American has not come round, and he is out of this race as the marshal has pulled it unceremoniously off the circuit. Martinez is not there. What has happened to Jacopo Martinez in this race? Did he retire before it even started? If that is the case, that is a shame for the number 4. So Martinez not on our screen. Scott Marsh then free to go into the lead by himself, as down the inside here comes Vladimir Ivanikov trying to gain those positions. A little further down, he's under the pressure though of Iskander Sulfakari. Sulfakari did take a race win yesterday. But today has struggled in these wet conditions. The driver from Turkey certainly pushing hard now, as he does get past Vladimir Ivanikov and allows, well, his two of his Forza teammates to get through as well. Looks like one of the Waltz gets through. It is Devon Waltz who manages to get through. And yeah, Martinez and Jack Iliff not having a good start to their race, unfortunately. tumbling right to the back of the field. So it's Marsh who leads from Lovett, Kamiab, Zulfikari, Waltz, Devon Waltz, that is, from Vladimir Vanikov, Andrea Mani from Augustus Toniolo. Mazzola is there as well. There is yellow flags out at turn number 1 again, so drivers are off the track, and I will try and relay who they could be. And I think it might be Sun Z, unfortunately, for the Paralin Motorsport team, because Sun Z has not come through sector number 2 and has tumbled down the order on our list, and that could be the reason why we see the yellow flags out there at the banking. Race continuing though, and well, Marsh and Kamiab have broken away. You can see Lovett there in the 44, he's absolutely fine. This battle here, Zulfikari, Devon Waltz, Vladimir Vanikov, and Andrea Mani. This is Toniolo right there behind. You can see there the train really starting to form right now as drivers take those little extra racing lines as Toniolo sends it down the inside, gets past Andrea Mani. And Mani now will have to deal with Mazzola just behind. And Mazzola goes 3 wide. They go 3 wide. There's contact. Mazzola on the grass. That was scary there. And amazing kart control from Mazzola to keep control of that one on the start-finish straight, the fastest part of the circuit. And you've got to say, those wet tyres there, the treaded tyres, I think, played in very handy there with keeping that kart in the straight and narrow on the start-finish line. Let's have a look at the replays of that last sector again. There was this first little moment here. Augusto Toniolo trying to get the move down the inside here of Andrea Mani. Then, because of that, they closed up the speed. Here came Mazzola, and just as they turned in on each other, Mazzola on the grass there, kicking up the debris. Kept his foot in it, to be fair, and still in this race, and still right there behind them. So, failed first attempt. Second attempt, hopefully a little bit more successful. Marsh, Kamiab, Lovett, Zulfikari, Waltz is the battle that we're watching. This is Devon Waltz and Zulfikari battling away, the two teammates, Forza Racing, or Forza Racing 3, 4 and 5 out on circuits behind the Tony Kart and the Ricky Flynn out there as more battles happening. Andrea Mani once again trying to go for the move. This time it's the number 21 of Klarica Waldcheck going through. And, well, this time as well, you're seeing there Ludovico Mazzola not even going for the attempt there, as thinking, right, yeah, I tried that once. Oh, a bit scary. I'm not going to do it again. Here's a look at the start of that race. And initially, everyone getting away well. Yeah, and straight away, you're seeing there that our man, Jacopo Martinez, not there at the start of that one. That gave the green light to everyone to keep going at the beginning of it, especially for Marsh. He got a green light there to really just hold on to the lead of that one. No real contest. There was a spin in the middle of the track. Jack Iliff, I can imagine, closed his eyes and clenched a little bit there as the field all tried to avoid him. That was it, Ivanikov going for the moves. And while we're watching the live feed, we have seen a change for the lead. Kamiab has got through on the right-hand side of your screen, with still the replays on the left-hand side of your screen. There, though, again, seeing these overtakes thick and fast on those highlights, you can see how dramatic the first opening races can be. On to lap number 5 now of 7. And Kamiab leads by just under 7/10 of a second. Here's the two Forza teammates going wheel to wheel again. And Zulfikari denied the chance of getting past by Devon Waltz. And that was as close as you could get to not hitting your teammate on a start-finish line as you could get. Well, Zulfikari certainly piling on the pressure to his teammate, but not managing to get past. Now there's a kart off at turn number 1 through the Bruno Ferrari S's, and it is the 190 that's going no further, and that is Yuri Lavar for the Lavar Motorsport team. He's going to try and get it restarted. I think he has got it restarted, which is good to see, but he finds himself now trundling along at the back of the grid. Back with the two Forzas. And for Devon Waltz and Iskandar Zulfikari, this race is far from over. Zulfikari piling on the pressure once more, tapping the rear bumper there through Bobby Game corner. Into the Mike Wilson complex, he's got the inside line. No, stays behind. And again, you can see there a little mistake, maybe, from Devon Waltz. Carried a bit too much speed there into the Mike Wilson complex. And now is on the back foot once again. Is Iskandar Zulfikari going to go for the move again on the start-finish line? No, hasn't got the legs to get it done. What happened to Kanishk Rao? Oh, dear me. Yeah, that was a bit of a sideways moment. Oh, dear, quite a violent spin as well. Puts himself right on the apex and very smartly just kind of signals to the driver saying, hey, I've spun, sorry, don't hit me, please. And, yeah, luckily they all managed to avoid him there. So great kart control from all the drivers there. And Kanishk Rao maybe to get that one back onto the circuit, but I'm not sure if he got it restarted. In fact, I don't think he did. I think he's out of this race, so yeah, that's a bit of a shame. Right, so race going on. Devin Waltz and Skander Sovkari nice and close out there right now, pushing each other along, but right now having to really fend amongst themselves, really. They are their biggest threat right now, is their own teammates. That's never a nice thing to have out there, but the Forza Racing team have had some great success with some of their drivers over the modern era of karting. Actually last year in the 2023 season, and as well moving into the 2024 season, the Forza team having success with their pilots. As we go into the final lap of this race, Kamyab leads the way from Marsh, Lovett, Waltz, Sulfakari and Ivanikov still leading the way. But for Roman Kamyab here, I don't think we've seen him at the sharp end at the front. Kamyab looking for his first win of the weekend. It's going to come in his last race of the day, but better late than never to get it done. And I'm sure we'll be delighted with this result. Kamyab, who has really pushed on in this one there, you can see doesn't sit within the top 6 in the intermediate classification. That is Marsh getting up to second with 255 points. If he'd taken the win, it had a chunk more to his name, but I don't think it would have been enough to close into Anagnostiidis. But still, it's a level best effort there from Scott Marsh, though Anagnostiidis still in charge at the moment, looking like he could start on pole position. But across the line, Roman Kamyab's going to take a win of this weekend as he sees that checker flag across the line. It's Roman Kamyab from Scott Marsh, Archie Lovett from Devin Waltz, Skander Sovkari from Vladimir Ivanikov, who are a little further down the road. Lovett crosses the line, Waltz crosses the line, Sovkari crosses the line, and Ivanikov now crosses the line a little further down. Kowalczyk and Toniolo, Waltz and Cochet. Out of the race on that last lap was Andrea Mani, though. The driver who was fighting up at the sharp end is tumbling down the order, and that is very disappointing for the young driver Andrea Mani, who was doing so well for the Forza Racing team so far this weekend. Now lies out of this race and joins the sea of drivers who have retired from this race. Well, field will make their way back into Parc Ferme. Here's a look at the full classifications. Kamyab, Marsh and Lovett makes it an all-British 1, 2, 3. Waltz from Sulfakari, Ivanikov from Kowalczyk, Toniolo from Drew Waltz, Louis Cochet from Krutulov, then it's Mazzola from Rousseau, Maniac from Brown, the top 15. 16th place downwards sees Toby Gale, Evan Purcell from William Kalesia, Alex Brunner from Gilles Herman, Vanessa Chilkane, Matvey Derganov, Amit Sabarov from Pareja. Then it's Lavar from Mani, Landino, Bernard